Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 10295 Southwest Greenleaf Terrace here in Tigard. This is also referred to as the Summerfield neighborhood or development. Anyway, 3-inch ABS clean out here. It sits straight out from the doorway. As you face this house from the street, that's generally how I describe everything, is if you're out in the road just facing the front of the property in general. I guess you could say we're technically, to the left of the doorway, but if you're standing in the doorway, it's straight away from you. Got a 3-inch ABS clean out. Sits just a couple feet to the left of the concrete here. We're going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is currently running. We're going to zero the foot counter out at the base of the clean out access. And off we go. Looks like we might have a little bit of hot water moving through the line here. We'll get the steam cleared out at the end. Looks like the line right there bells out to 4-inch pipe, right? Just almost immediately upon access. It's a nice thing. I wish more homes did that. A lot of times you don't get that 4-inch transition until you're getting out near the right-of-way. And that's really only important if you ever do an addition, add bathrooms in that requires a larger diameter pipe because of the amount of fixtures in your home. But if you ever do something like that, it's nice when you can, when you're only having to update to just outside the house rather than running a line almost all the way to the road. And quite a clean sewer line here so far. There's a little bit of grease built up in the flow line, but it's very minor. And my camera is upside down right now. I apologize. My auto-leveling camera heads are in the shop. It doesn't bug my eyes at all. I've been doing this 13 years. My brain just flips it upside down, but it's probably a little funny for the average person to look at there. And I'll try and keep you clued into that too as we reel back in. That's where it's a little bit harder to tell that orientation. So just transition there over to 6-inch concrete. Generally that transition takes place either at the right-of-way, right around where the sidewalk starts, and or at the street edge. And there's our main connection. Alrighty, we're going to do a couple toilet flushes and get the steam blown out of the pipe. We're going to go locate the camera head, then we'll have a better view of everything as we come back in. Certainly a functioning sewer line from a flow standpoint. We'll get a nicer view of the condition of the line, that kind of stuff as we come back. Alright, located the located the camera head successfully out on Greenleaf. Where I picked that locate up is essentially directly in line with where the clean out access is. If I recall off the top of my head, the line meanders around a little bit, but overall, by the time it hits the main, it runs in a pretty darn straight trajectory overall. Stringy stuff at the top of the pipe there, those are just cobwebs we just went past, not roots, same thing there. Very prevalent thing in sewer lines. Lots of flies and bugs for the spiders to go after. These people have done a great job of keeping the line clean. There's very little grease buildup in general to speak of. Looks very good. Concrete pipe here is held up pretty nicely. There's very little wear. Just barely starting to see the aggregate show through. That still has plenty of life left in it. The only thing that would be affecting that piece of pipe here at this point in time is just simply age and environmental factors you can't predict. You know, where this is at, there's really not a lot of foliage in the area, trees, things like that. So if you're just waiting for the line to wear out, that's pretty much where you're at with it. And it behooves you nowadays to keep an eye on these things. You want to rescope periodically. In a part of town, I believe you're responsible all the way to the main here, which includes everything in the street, which is the very expensive part. Although this line looks like it runs under a walkway too. You've got a lot of stuff. But the concrete section in particular, concrete pipe has a much more finite lifespan than plastic pipe does, for instance. And the one thing that starts to wear out first, generally speaking, are the pipe joints. The grout that seals those joints up over time, especially with constant expansion, contraction of the ground like we have here with all the rainfall. Real quick, bottom right-hand corner, the little stringy things there, those either cobwebs or it's a little excess pipe glue, something of that nature. That's not roots. But anyway, what you don't want to do is let the line wear out to the point where the joints open up to the ground and they start to allow groundwater and dirt to seep in. That's not going to happen tomorrow. This is if you're here long enough to see that some of that stuff take place. But if you start seeing evidence of stuff like that, that's where you want to look into the prospect of an epoxy liner, which is a trenchless repair system. That's kind of where I'm going with this conversation here. If you are able to update the line by a liner versus digging, the cost difference is massive. We're talking 3-4 times cheaper. You can take something that's theoretically, you had probably about 25-foot section of pipe there. That's approximately $4,000, $5,000 to line. You may have to add a 4-inch clean out in right in front of this one, but if you look at what that cost would be if you had to crack the road open, you're talking more like $15,000. So it behooves you to spend a little bit of money here and there. I usually recommend you rescope about every 2 years. This one you could probably go a little bit longer because it's not ancient old concrete pipe, but it's a good idea to keep up on that stuff. That way you can take advantage of that new type of repair system. If you let a line wear out too badly to where it settles and you get offset joints and bellies in particular, you won't be able to do that any longer. Anyway, we have great flow end to end here. Very clean line. Every bit of pipe there is in good condition or good condition for its age, i.e. the concrete pipe. All the plastic nice and clean. Now right here we're staring back to the foundation wall. Everything looks good going through the foundation, and everything beyond that point is exposed piping in the crawl space. That's stuff that the home inspector looks at. I focus on everything that's underground. Very nice looking sewer line. It is functioning properly at this time. Again, as a reference here, in case you need to hunt this thing back down again, there's your front doorway. To the left of it, you've got the double windows here. It's not right between the windows, it's offset closer to the right side window here. You're about, probably 18 inches to the left of the concrete and about 8 inches out from the front of the house there, where that cleanout's at. You could always do something like put something classy over the top of it, like a pink flamingo or a lawn gnome. Something to market. Anyway, line's functioning properly at this time. Great looking line there. I would just keep up on it, rescope every 2-3 years to monitor the line.